What time is it?
It's Tuesday night, 10 p.m., and this is the C3 Podcast.
I guess you've heard of my reputation. I've had my share of fooling around. But everybody needs stimulation.
I had fun, man. Just out, you guys joking. We working at the same time. Putting the work in as a team. Like I said, man, I'm just glad to be with the guys.
My favorite night of the week.
Good Lord, it's a good day to be a Panthers fan, and we the best. You heard them say it. We are the best, Joe, and we put it on them right in their mouth. What is up, Panther fans? It's your boy, the Professor, a.k.a. Tony Dunn, and this is the C3 Podcast, brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where every Tuesday night at 10 p.m., Panther fans unite to talk about our favorite team from the fan perspective. I do it each and every week with my homeboys. Usually that freaking Puerto Rican is here. He is on his way back from the beach right now, and so we got to get the third chord, the third C in the podcast once again. I call him Mel, every other brother Mayock. Sometimes every other brother. What is up, my friend? How are you? Welcome back to the show.
All right. Well, that is well deserved. It's been 3 weeks since I've been on, so glad to be back. Just like I say in that opening tune, it's my favorite night of the week. Even in these dog days of summer where there's not a whole lot of football to talk about, we're still going to find something. So let's do it.
All right. Well, tonight's show, guys, is Cam's ESPYs and Panthers Defense Bucs Tampa Bay. We're going to be talking about Cam Newton and his ESPY nomination. We're going to talk about Carolina Panthers running backs. And me and Mel have some different views on how to proceed going forward.
So
and
what else is new?
I know, yeah. And then the second half of the show, we're going to focus on how the Panthers defense matched up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense last season and how we continue to see that matchup unfolding going into this season. We have a special guest, Gene Thompson, a.k.a. super heavyweight from Buc What You Heard, who's going to be joining us at 1:30 to get on with that. So, as usual, you can tweet the show using the hashtag C3. I've got the YouTube comments rolling. So welcome. Already got some people in there. Mel, since you're back, I'm going to ask you to keep an eye on Twitter a little bit. Help me out on that. And also, just a reminder, this is a fan website. CarolinaCatChronicles.com is by fans for fans, because without the fan, football is just a kid's game. So we ask you to fan fund the show. Consider visiting the link in the show notes and helping out our Patreon account. We've got our first patron, Justin Teague, came hard with the $4 a month patronage, right? He got a C3 shirt for that. So JT rules. What a great name he has. Also, even if you can't help our show, what I just say is buy us a beer. $1 a month buys one of us a beer. If you can't do that, do what the most important thing that can possibly help this show, and that is to share us, like us, tell a friend about us, and even write a nice review for us on iTunes or Stitcher or however you grab your podcast later on. All right, Mel, I also, some unfolding news while you were away drinking wine with your moms, faking work. Mel always says he's gone for work because I see him at Padres games. If that's work, sign me up, my friend. But
hey, I have an open position, man. You can interview.
The professor, it might be too brash for that line of work.
It's probably true.
And tonight you will see some of that as I get to my ice up picks and drop a little dicky on this dude from Facebook commenters. So if you're listening out, my Lex Luthor, is that the Superman dude?
Dude, I'm not into the comic.
You remember the bad guy in the Superman movies? I think it was Lex Luthor. You're a wrestling guy, right? Lex Luger the wrestler?
Yeah, big old steroid dude.
Okay, so my Lex Luthor was gonna get a little ice coming his way at the end of the show. So you guys stick around for that. Again, tonight's show, Cam's ESPYs and the Panthers Defense Bucs Tampa Bay. So we're just gonna go ahead and jump in and talk about what's hot, Mel.
Let's do it.
Austria.
Good day, mate. Let's put another shrimp on the barbie.
No, I'm just getting warmed up. Here's Charlie facing the fire, and there's George hiding in Big Daddy's pocket.
Dylan, because I spit hot fire.
Take a flamethrower to this place.
What's hot on C3? Mel, the hottest thing around is the damn heat in North Carolina. It was 100 degrees today. On Friday, I swear, the heat was 99. It was 99% humidity. It has been miserable and raining a lot. But other than that, there's not much hot. It is a dry time when it comes to NFL news. And this may be the driest week I've ever seen when it comes to storylines, even across the entire NFL, but specifically for the Panthers in the whole time we've been doing the show. So really the only news to talk about that is kind of, I guess, new, and it's barely new, Cam Newton nominated for 2 ESPY awards, Best Male Athlete and Best NFL Player. So he had a fantastic year, NFL MVP. And on top of that, he has now been nominated. It sounds like he is starting to kind of trend. He's becoming that icon. He's become that entertainer. He's on Nickelodeon. And he's got some heavy competition when it comes to Male Athlete of the Year. Steph Curry, Bryce Harper, and LeBron James. LeBron James, man, it's going to be tough to beat him after bringing back a championship to Cleveland for 52 years. But out of that list, Cam Newton, Steph Curry, Bryce Harper, LeBron James, are you going to vote for Cam Newton?
I'm always going to vote for Ace Boogie, man. Cam Newton is my boy, so I will always back him. But I totally agree with you. The storyline of LeBron bringing the championship back home to Cleveland is a much bigger story. But what I have to say to the judges is Cam Newton never set up a press conference, bashed his team. Well, didn't bash, but broke the hearts of his fan base from his small town team, then go away, then come back. So I think Cam Newton should get the nod here.
Okay, we know that Cam Newton is going to sweep in our eyes. He's already won the C3 ESPYs, and I will say that I would call on every Panther fan to unite more than Tuesday night, but go vote for Cam Newton to win Best Male Athlete. I think that, LeBron James, he's very deserving of this, and even with the nonsense of him or the announcement and leaving Cleveland and all the things that surround that, I thought that was a bit overdone, the hate that came with that. And what a sensational performance. What a sensational performance in the NBA Finals, though.
It was awesome, no doubt about it. But did you see his post-game interview? It was all about him. He did not mention his teammates once. That just irked me. He said, that was
go hug your damn coach, too. Poor
right?
Over there crying on the sidelines by himself.
Right. It's ridiculous. But, hey, you know what we out here in Las Vegas call 100 degrees?
What?
A cold
winter?
Yeah, winter. It was 116 last week, brother.
All right. A lot of people on Twitter getting in and on YouTube. Cam Newton greater than Hillary Clinton from Savage Cam. And Savage Cam for Prez And I think that they're pretty much saying that Cam should sweep. On Twitter, I think Legacy Lines, Lynn, by the way, fantastic talent. Can't wait to unveil the shirt. I'm so excited to show everybody. But she's saying that the hangover, the backlash from the Super Bowl will probably interfere with him winning either one of these awards. All right. So let's go on and we'll talk about that next one, which is best NFL player. So Cam Newton, MVP. We know he had a sensational 15-1 year letdown in the Super Bowl. He was not a letdown in the Super Bowl. But Tom Brady, J.J. Watt, Antonio Brown, Julio Jones. Who is the second? Who's the runner-up on this list?
Why is Von Miller not there?
I don't know. Well, good, because I don't want him to be. Because I told them not to put him up there.
There you go. To me, that was the number 2 player in NFL. But I would go Julio Jones off of that list there. That guy's a monster.
Let me tell you this, is that I was sitting there looking at it, and I thought, man, Tom Brady is on this list for his namesake. J.J. Watt, namesake. And then I went and looked up their stats. And Tom Brady went 12-4 last year, had a 64% completion rate, 36 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Wow. That's a damn good season. Yeah. And he doesn't have like a boss of a team around him. He does have Gronk.
And how many rushing yards? How many rushing yards did he have? I think it was like -7.
Right. And, I'm not going to give Tom Brady any love, but that's an impressive stat line. So his name didn't just carry him into there. J.J. Watt, I thought, man, he didn't have the season that he's had in the past. I thought that he was kind of floating in on his laurels, and I can't even verify. The number doesn't even sound right. He had 17.5 sacks last year, dude.
Wow.
Jesus, 17.5 sacks. That's intense. All right, so look, your boys, Antonio Brown and Julio Jones, are neck and neck. Mm-hmm. Both came in with 136 catches on the dime, on the nose.
Wow.
1,834 yards for Antonio Brown, 1,871 yards for Julio.
Whew.
8 touchdowns for Julio, 10 touchdowns for Antonio Brown. I'm going to tell you this, is that I'm going to be upset if Cam Newton doesn't get this award, but every dang one of these guys had an exceptional season.
Heck yeah, and I think Antonio Brown missed a couple of games, didn't he?
I feel like, that guy's a beast.
He's unbelievable.
I saw, what was it? I think some people were making some comments about the best players leaving to go to another team, and I think football players were talking about how Kevin Durant has moved on to the Golden State Warrior. Yeah,
unbelievable.
I don't know enough about basketball, but I'm really interested in how that scheme works, because if they can make that thing work, dude, holy cow, good luck.
Steph Curry, good luck. For
good
sure.
luck. But one of the things, though, is somebody was commenting ball player, if they went to a team, what team they would have to join. And I was thinking it's got to be the Carolina Panthers, 15-1, just shy of winning the whole shebang, similar to Golden State. And so I will take Antonio Brown or Julio Jones. I actually would rather have Julio, just so Atlanta could die as a city and a franchise.
That's always a good motivation. Hey, let me give 2 real quick shout outs if you don't mind. All right. Just one shout out is to Missy Russell, who's a follower of ours, at Missy Russell. Go follow her if you haven't. But she's in the middle of fighting stopping smoking. And I tell you, as somebody who quit smoking myself about 9 years ago, woo, that's a tough battle, tough thing to do every day. So keep pounding. That moniker goes for a lot of different things. So good luck. Keep fighting that fight. And
yeah,
then
that's a tough road, man, and I'm not very good at it. I don't smoke hardcore, but
It's tough. It's
Cigarettes,
tough.
man.
It's tough. Now, also, Twitter follower Christina at ChrisAG1336. She points out on Twitter that she happens to be wearing the same shirt that I'm wearing tonight. Roaring Riot. We are all one riot. So it's going to be another fun year ahead. Just want to give a couple of quick shout outs. If you tweet us using hashtag C3, we might talk about you.
Wonderful. I've been getting so many nice emails from people about the show and the podcast and things. And, we really appreciate that because, we, a lot of times, especially we're really close with the people on Twitter. We're really close with the people on YouTube. We call us the C3 family. But if you listen to the podcast, we'd love to just hear from you, even if it's that email, carolinacatchronicles@gmail.com, because we don't get that interaction at that same rate. We just like to say we appreciate it. All right. Moving on, Mel, I think we need to talk about this running back thing. So
I struck a nerve.
Yeah.
Oh, look, hold on. This might be important.
This is Antonio Brown saying he's going to be joining the Carolina Panthers.
He said he's thinking about it. He said he'd get back to me next week.
Tell him we'll be happy with Le'Veon.
All right, you got it.
If he
not D'Angelo. They were offering up D'Angelo Williams to come back. I said nah.
Keep him.
Yep.
Okay. Tell us about this. All right. So one of the positions going into training camp, we've been excited about this wide receiver position. We've been questioning the cornerback position, but one particular area that we haven't talked a lot about just yet. We talked a lot about it pre-draft because a lot of us were real high on Derrick Henry, right? It's Derrick Henry, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's who I wanted.
Big man. So tell us, you are still on this running back thing. You write for Draft Tech on the side. Mm-hmm. Tell us what happened this week that sparked this conversation again. Right. And you said we're not going to debate it on Twitter. We're going to talk about it on the podcast.
That's right. I didn't want to embarrass you on Twitter because everything's on digital. Yeah. No, it's a Draft Tech is a great website. It's the #1 mock draft website. They do it year round. They actually rank every draftable prospect in college football and rank them by position. And then they have 32 analysts, one from each team. I'm the one for the Panthers, where we establish what the team needs are. And when the simulation goes and they take the ranked players and match them up, the highest ranked player to that team's need as it goes through the draft, ours came out to be running back, which I have very high on our board, not the #1 need, but a very high need. And the very high value pick of one Dalvin Cook, the young stud out of Florida State, was the one that matched up to us. He's the 15th overall ranked prospect, and we got him at pick number 30 in the draft.
Why do you think we need to go this high after a running back, Mel?
Well, what was it? Was it 2011 or 2013? One of those years where we had 6 running backs. We went through 6 starting running backs. It was just absolutely ridiculous. And if you look at our offense, it is predicated on a successful run game. It just truly is. I mean, our quarterback is a runner. And a lot of folks, including yourself, said, well, hey, what about Cap?
Just to channel my Gettleman here, the answer is sometimes on your roster.
The key is sometimes. And are you going to gamble your success of your #1 rated offense around an unproven running back who is already a little bit older? I think he's already 27 maybe, but he's fumbled when he's had his opportunities. He has not been proven. He has some upside, and I like Cap, and I think he could be good. But if he is your stud that is the center cog of your offense, that's an awfully big gamble, and you always need more than one. You always need that stud running back, that double trouble. And what the Panthers really need in a running back is somebody who doesn't come off the field. That, you know who the #1 and #2 ranked pass blocking running backs in the NFL last year were?
Who is that?
#1 was D'Angelo Williams. #2 was Jonathan Stewart. So that goes to show you that Panthers, I know D'Angelo's not still with us, but he was born and raised on Carolina Panthers in the NFL. Pass blocking by a running back is a premium. And if they have to come off the field, and Cap did have some struggles in pass blocking, if you have to come off the field on 3rd and long, you tip your hand as to what you're going to do, and you expose your offense. Dalvin Cook is a 3-down back. He's 5'10", 208 pounds, runs a 4.38 type 40. He had 9 games where he went for over 30 yards on any given play. I mean, the guy is elite, and to get him at 30, to put him into that same backfield with Cam Newton, to me, it's a no-brainer.
All right. There's a little debate over the age of Cap on YouTube. He is 26. 1990 is when he was born.
Okay, that's a little off.
What'd you say?
I said 27.
Okay. The other thing is this. He had 1 fumble, Mel.
And it was a very, very key one, if I recall.
It was in the playoffs. Okay.
And how much playing time did he get otherwise?
All right. So he had, in the regular season, he had 183 yards on 45 carries.
Okay.
That's pretty good. He had a 31-yard run. He averaged 4.1 yards per carry. He had 5 targets. He caught all 5 balls for 58 yards. He averaged 11 yards per reception. He didn't drop a ball, which is great. And it was in the playoffs. He had 3 carries for 7 yards and a fumble.
Potential, my man, and potential will get you killed in the NFL. You got to be proven. You can't have potential as your lead guy. You just can't. Potential needs to be your backup until proven otherwise.
I think he's produced, man. I think when he's been on the field, I like him. You're right. But how about this? What if he's able to wrestle away 45% of the carries from Jonathan Stewart this year?
Oh, let me tell you, this mock draft. Yeah, this mock draft is as of July of 2016.
Sure.
If he goes in and he takes 45% of the carries and proves that he can be reliable in clutch situations and not put the ball on the ground and be that trustworthy bell cow type of running back, be able to stay out there. I tell you, a key for me is, can he stay out there on 3rd down? If he can't, he will never be the sole stud in Carolina. But if he proves it this year, then yeah, I mean, I'll be looking at a different position.
What I would say, or what Lynn actually said on Twitter, what about Wager?
Unproven. A lot of potential. Like him. Happy to see it, but he's got to prove it before I'm willing to not.
He didn't even get a hat last year. One time, did he?
Right. No. Well, he did one time late in the year, I believe for special teams purposes. Somebody was hurt, but no, he did. He did not get much playing time. So definitely unproven. I'm excited about Brandon Wager, though. I think we're going to see some Wager time this year, but it's unproven at this point.
How do you need to make your running back such a priority when you've got Cam Newton?
Heck yeah. Do you want him running for the next 5-6 years? He's going into year 6. You want his legs being chopped out from under him? You got to have that stud running back behind him. Have to.
Gosh, I feel like the one thing I don't like about this idea, and just in general, is the idea of a running back in the first round. The only one that is produced that I can remember recently has been Todd Gurley.
And he doesn't suck.
He does not suck. He does not. But he was like a number 1 pick, though. I mean, he could have been.
But they say this guy reminds a lot of people of Chris Johnson, your boy out of East Carolina.
Have you got to watch any of that Arizona Cardinals All In or Going for Broke or whatever it is, the thing on Amazon? Bruce Arians has a foul freaking mouth. I can already tell you that. And I'm like 18 minutes into the first episode. And they showed Chris Johnson in the first episode, and he was the most coherent I've ever seen him in his entire life. I thought it was fantastic. So I'm still cheering for Chris Johnson, even though it's unclear if he can read or not. And he also has a degree. I wonder if he did graduate from ECU. I don't know. I don't like to. We probably should leave that stone untouched.
No. Hey, unfortunately, we have limited time, but I would love to do an entire podcast on that topic.
Yeah. Okay. What about this? What about the fullback? So what you're really suggesting when it comes to the running back position is that who we have right now can't be a long-term solution alone. And that is with Jonathan Stewart clearly not going to be. Well, is there a chance that Jonathan Stewart continues to play for the Carolina Panthers?
There's always a chance. Always a chance. But, you never say never. But his contract status says at the end of this year, I mean, are we going to pay him $10+ million to come back when he's over 30 years old? I doubt it. Really doubt it. But, I mean, if he goes out and puts up 2,000 yards this year, we got a lot of cap space going into the next year that, hey, I mean, you never know. It's too early to say never.
He owes us. He owes us a vet minimum because, and actually I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that because you get what you get and you get as much as you can get when you can get it. Because of the very thing that he runs into is that he has had a lot of injury problems, but when he is out there, he is effective. And so if we could get 15 games out of him this year, preferably the last 15 games of the season, including the playoffs, that's what we need. We need him. You notice, though, as soon as he got dinged up in the Super Bowl, that it really hurt our offense.
There's my point. There is my point. Are you going to risk? I mean, why didn't Cap come in there and blow it up?
Because he didn't get a hat that game because they didn't activate him for the Super Bowl.
Well, he can't be that damn good if they didn't activate him for the Super Bowl.
No, it was because they wanted to put in an extra defensive lineman or something like that.
That was a mistake. But see, that shows you how important the running back spot is in the Panthers offense. If you don't have that elite guy back there healthy, you're in trouble. And if you want to bank on Cap being all that, that's your prerogative, and I hope you're right, but I'm just not willing to put my money on that.
All right, we got 3 minutes before Super Heavyweight comes and joins the show. I want to mention, and we're going to start talking about a division foe. Again, you can tweet the show using hashtag C3. You can comment on YouTube. We appreciate your listening and viewing. Please give us a share. And the last thing that we should talk about is the fullback position. And because it's related to the running back positions for 2 or 3 years now, I've been forecasting the end of the big man. I don't want to say his name because Mama Tolbert might jump out behind me and rip me apart, right? True. She might say, I thought I had my she would go like this. You'd be like, oh no, you didn't, right? And
don't mess with Mama Tolbert.
Again, we got another situation. We got this Rockhead block. What is his name? The guy that knocked the dude out.
His nickname is Rockhead.
Rockhead. A lot of people are excited about him. I have not seen the highlight video that was as exciting as Lee Ward's was because I was on that Lee Ward train last year. I was so wanting it. Is this the year that the big guy doesn't make the team? And I'm going to go ahead and say, spoiler alert, he makes the team again.
Where is the freaking
Love you, Mama Tolbert.
Where's the freaking Puerto Rican's poo hat when you need it, man?
I know.
Oh, jeez. But will this guy steal some playing time from Tolbert? That's
he's not going to make the team. Rockhead's not going to. They're not going to carry 2 of them. They won't do it.
Sucks. Maybe put him on the practice squad for a year.
Okay. All right. Mal, any other thoughts before Gene joins us? We're going to be talking about the Bucs. Actually, well, let's encourage everybody to go to ESPN.com and vote for Cam Newton for male athlete and best NFL player. We love to see him win either one or both of those awards. He's very deserving, and it's time to turn around the perception of him publicly. And I think he's been doing a good job. Lynn has an excellent point. That press conference, it's such low-hanging fruit for the haters to go after.
It is. But you know what? If you watch his Nickelodeon show on Friday nights, dude is just a class act. He's a big kid. I love watching that show. I'd be interested to hear who else out there on Twitter watches that show and what you think. But before Gene gets on, one thing I wanted to bring up, Professor, is this year the C3 Fantasy Football League is going to be absolutely bigger and better than ever. We've got a record number of people already coming back saying they want back in, people saying they want in. Man, I got two favorite shows of the year. The one is the draft night show when we all hang out and just have a blast talking about the draft. And the other one is the fantasy football draft show that we do, where we announce all the team names and we pick the order that they're going to be in. If you want to be in the C3 Fantasy Football Draft, you need to hit us up. You need to DM or tweet me and or the professor or the freaking Puerto Rican. Let us know you want in. It's going to be off the hook.
Yeah, it is. And we already have a lot of people coming back from last year. So we're excited about that.
Come back when he's over 30 years old.
Gene, you got to cut off the broadcast in the background. All right. We've got Gene from Buc What You Heard. What's up, my friend? We got no audio.
Oh
no,
That's a lot like the Bucs offense.
I know. No audio from the Bucs offense. He can jump back out and jump back in. It's all good. We do have a question, Mel. You're a big Hornets fan.
I am.
We had Savage Cam ask, can we get some Hornets news, a little Hornets discussion on the podcast?
Sure.
I saw we got rid of the big guy, Big Al, right? Gone.
Well,
and now we brought in
Roy Hibbert, who's a heck of a player, you know.
He's soft for such a giant man, though.
Couple years ago, he was the man, and the nice
He
thing
was
is,
awesome.
The nice thing about him about that deal is we signed him to a 1-year, $5 million deal. So it's a prove it deal. So he's going to come out hungry and motivated, I think.
How much?
1 year, $5 million.
That's like $1 in NBA money.
I know. So he's got to go out and prove it, which I like. And I think they're bringing back Marvin Williams. I like that move.
Yep.
You know, so
loved him when he played in Carolina, and also I think didn't they get the Frenchman back?
Frenchman.
Batum,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know that. You know what? I gotta say though, should Nick Batum be the highest paid athlete in Charlotte, North Carolina?
I don't really understand this this NBA crap. Like, I just don't really get how they can make that much money. And not that I have a problem with them making that much money, but where the hell does it come from?
But why does he get a max contract? He is good, but he is not elite. To me, elite is Steph Curry, LeBron James, and I realize there's only so many of those folks out there. But are you going to pay max money to a guy that's not elite? That's not Dave Gettleman-esque. It's just not.
Well, everybody gets max money in the NBA.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Like, backup players get like $64 million. Oh, I wanted to bring that up. Antonio Cromartie watch. I got some Antonio Cromartie news. Not much.
How'd your kids? How'd your women?
Here's the update. We're going to keep updating you on Antonio Cromartie. No more children since last week.
Ooh, that's positive. That's
Good news for that. Good news for that. He wants a contract. He wants contracts. He does want a contract. He said, I'm waiting on a contract. So he wants to play. And he was talking to Trey Boston about basketball contracts and how absurd that somebody that scores 7 points a game got $64 million guaranteed.
I saw Peanut Tillman chimed in on that. He said, "Hey, I can't shoot, but for $64 million, I'll go out there and I'll load up the water bottles. I'll get you a few rebounds. I'll watch the jock straps, whatever." Pretty good.
Yeah. And then so he was joking with Trey Boston about this. I don't know. Let's read into it, folks. Let's exaggerate it all, right?
All right.
The tea leaves. Yeah.
Yes,
there it
we've
is.
got Gene. All right. Last thing before Gene comes in, because we can hear him now. Antonio Cromartie wants a 10-day NBA contract. I like that idea. Trey Boston said, "I'll take 2 of them." And also, Leon Hall update, Cards and Bengals still the favorite teams in that. No news on the cornerback front. Now we'd like to welcome in our special guest, super heavyweight, Gene Thomas from Buc What You Heard, the up-and-coming, the best Bucs podcast that I listen to every week, because it's the only Bucs podcast that I listen to every week.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it. I've been checking you guys out. You know, you guys don't take any days off. You kept it going throughout the season, and I like that.
Yeah, we have been, and we've gotten a lot of feedback about how people have appreciated that. So tonight we brought you on to talk about your Bucs, because what we do, obviously, Carolina Panthers focus, but then we go one layer out next, and we don't like to go all over the NFL. We like to look around the division first, because we know that winning the division in the NFL is still the most important objective to get into the playoffs. It's the road to the playoffs. The Panthers are 3-time NFC South champions looking for a four-peat, and so what we want to do is get a little take tonight on how the Panthers defense matches up against the Tampa Bay Bucs offense. We'll come back in a couple of weeks and we'll flip the script and talk the other way around. But we know this. Look, again, Dave Gettleman on the line.
Hey, man.
It's
What can I
okay.
tell you?
It's a hot topic tonight. Dave Gettleman is trying to get Julio away from Atlanta so that whole city implodes. But we know this. When it comes to the Panthers defense versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we know our strength is the front seven. We know the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' weakness last season, again, was their offensive line, or at least one of those struggles. So we want to get your take before we get into the games of last season and talk about the outcomes. How does that continued relationship of our front seven versus your offense, how have you guys worked to address that? Are you waiting for players? What's going on with the offensive line?
Last season, you saw a rookie quarterback in Jameis Winston, and you saw him grow throughout the season. He ended up, with pretty good numbers for a rookie quarterback. So I think what you're going to see this year is a much more improved Jameis Winston. Fortunately for us, we've managed to keep the continuity of the offense with Dirk Cutter being promoted to the position of head coach, and they brought in Todd Shaolin Monk is here to be the offensive coordinator. I think they've pretty much kept that continuity. They brought back Doug Martin, and you're going to see Austin Seferian-Jenkins, who wasn't 100% healthy last season. So you'll get to see a lot of players. Kenny Bell, another wide receiver that you didn't see last season. I just think there's a lot of questions out there for the Bucs this season, going up against the Carolina Panthers. What you have with the Panthers defense is consistency. Something you've seen, as you mentioned, three-peat in the NFC South as champions. I mean, that speaks volumes on the defensive side of the ball. So, I mean, they know what has to be done. But I feel like, our general manager, Jason Licht, has done a great job drafting, and we've seen that with players like Quan Alexander, players that, different players that have been drafted, like Charles Sims, Quan Alexander, players that you're seeing and you're going to hear a lot from this season. As long as injuries are the big thing. And I think if Tampa can avoid the injury bug, I think they should do pretty good in the NFC South. And as far as going up against your front seven, as you talk about, I think that they've done pretty good. They have Ali Marpet, who had a pretty good season for a rookie. Donovan Smith had a good season for a rookie. They brought in Gosler Cherilus, from free agency.
Was Donovan Smith a rookie? Was he the left tackle?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Out of Penn State.
So you had 2 rookies on your offensive line at starting positions.
Absolutely, and I thought they did a great job, protecting Jameis. We were able to win 6 games with, a bunch of rookies, and then you had some injuries, and I just felt like you had a lot of players. Logan Mankins was on the back end of his career. I thought he did a good job, but there were a lot of times where I saw where he didn't hold up his end of the deal, and Jameis was on flat on his back. He took a lot of hits in last season, but I honestly feel like this team has progressed, and as I mentioned before, continuity, and I feel like this team will do pretty good this season against Carolina, or better than. I would say it's an upgrade. It's an upgrade from what you saw last season. I'll put it that way.
Okay, yeah, because you get rookie players that, first of all, any rookie left tackle struggles, even if they're a top 5 pick. We saw the guy in Atlanta. He struggled for 2 seasons. He hasn't been fantastic, and he was the cream of the crop when it came. What's his, Mel? Do you remember his name?
From which place?
Left tackle, Atlanta, drafted 2 years ago.
Oh, Williams.
No. Was his dad played in the NFL? He was like
Matthews. I'm sorry.
Matthews, yeah.
Jake Matthews.
And he's had some difficulties getting.
Yeah, he did. He was the lowest. He was the lowest rated left tackle by Pro Football Focus in his rookie year, which I like to bring up to Atlanta fans. But according to PFF, Gina, I'd just like to get your take on this. They said that Logan Mankins was the best offensive lineman for the Bucs last year, according to the PFF grading system. What do you think about that?
Ooh, yeah, he like I said, he held his own. I mean, if you go back and watch the game film, I saw a couple of times where he missed blocks, and it blew up plays. So I mean, I'm not saying that any offensive lineman is perfect, but I just saw that multiple times, and like I said, he retired. I thought that he was on the back end of his career. He wasn't the same Logan Mankins you saw in New England. So he was a good player, and I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm just saying that he wasn't where.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And I'll give you that. One thing I'd like to point out in the Bucs' behalf is you took your lumps last year with 2 rookies, that's
a bit, and a rookie quarterback. So you had 3 guys that were getting the ball right around the ball every play that were rookies.
Yeah.
Was J.R. Sweezy, is he the replacement for Logan Mankins?
We'll see. I haven't seen anything from him in OTAs or minicamp. I know he's recovering from off-season surgery, so I know that a big free agency move, but I haven't seen anything from him yet, so I'm not sure where he's going to fit in all this.
From what I'm hearing, that Kevin Pamphile, is that how you pronounce his name?
Kevin Pamphile, yes.
Yeah, that's the guy that's going to be taking that spot. From what I hear, we'll see. I mean,
and since he's been drafted, I've been saying that he needs more playing time, and I think he's finally going to get that. I think you're going to see competition in almost all the positions on both ends of the ball this season. So there may be some surprises out there.
Maybe, but J.R. Sweezy is an NC State guy, so he'll probably get the nod.
Yeah, he's got that little nasty streak in him too. That play a little bit past the whistle kind of player.
Well, he's a free agency pickup. He's a veteran, and he played pretty well for Seattle, I believe. And, all right, let's look back. Let's look back at the Panthers versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, week 4, I believe, week 4 or 5. First matchup, 37-23. The Carolina Panthers win this game. Ryan Delaire. We really had trouble generating pressure on the quarterback. We only got 2 sacks in this game. Ryan Delaire, former undrafted free agent that was on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers squad that a lot of Panther fans really like, and maybe just impressed us in his first game. He had 2 sacks that game. We were missing Charles Johnson that week. Jared Allen had joined the team like 8 seconds before the game started, and Luke Kuechly was out. So that's kind of the gist of it. And here's what happened. This is what the Bucs offense did. Winston was 26 for 43. He had 287 yards, 2 touchdowns, 4 picks. Doug Martin had 106 yards on 20 carries and a touchdown. And Vincent Jackson ate us up towards the end of the game with 10 catches, 147 yards, and a touchdown. There was a pick six. Norman became the first player to have 2 pick sixes in the first 4 games of the season, I think, in NFL history in this game. Right off the bat, Coleman and TD had picks. That early in the season, though, that's to be expected. Tell us about Jameis Winston in that game, or not just in that game, but that early part of the season, and how we should expect him to have progressed going into this year.
Well, if you go back and watch that game, Josh Norman, he did get 2 picks that were clean. There were a lot of deflected balls. There were a lot of high balls. And this is, Jameis Winston, rookie season. This is 4th game in the NFL. Not making excuses for him. It is what it is, basically.
That's valid.
And, his decision-making at that time was questionable on some of those plays. But, he picked it up as the season went along. He had a streak of, I believe it was 4 or 5 games where he didn't throw any interceptions or have any turnovers. So I think he just progressed after each of those games. But, going back to the Panthers game, I think that, he did a great job. And, for being a rookie and facing a defense as good as Carolina's was last season. And, the fact that our defense on the other side of the ball didn't really help matters too much, I mean, that, just added to it as well.
Mm-hmm. Mel, they outgained us 411 yards to 244. The Bucs did.
Wow.
What I see is put aside the 147 yards and a touchdown from Vincent Jackson. Anytime a team rushed over 100 yards on the Panthers, we really seemed that was our Achilles heel. Mm-hmm. When we could not stop the run, then it exposed us in the second. I won't say exposed us in the secondary, but obviously made us more vulnerable. We did not have Luke Kuechly in this game. We had some trouble on the defensive line. Doug Martin, though, had a comeback season last year, Mel, that earned him a free agency contract, I believe, with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What do you see out of this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, Mel, that you want to address the Panthers to be focused on going into the 2016 season?
Well, I got to say, I hate division rivals, but I hate the Bucs the least in the division. So they're my least hated team in the division, Gene. So but I have to say that the Bucs have a lot of potential. They got a lot of upside. I mean, their wide receivers are twin towers, big dudes, and if they can get us, what's your
Safarian Jenkins?
Thank you. If you get him playing healthy, man, I mean, you got a lot of options. It's very similar to the Panthers offense with a very good, solid, up-and-coming quarterback. And what you saw in Jameis Winston at Florida State was progressively got better, and he's probably going to get better this coming year. I still am not afraid of your defense, but I think you probably improved. But, I think when the Panthers – and I think the Panthers are probably taking a step back in the defense area without Josh Norman. And I know that's a debate amongst Panther Nation. But with your offense improving, our defense maybe not improving, I'm looking for a high-scoring type of ball game out of these two squads coming into the year. Like in the 30s on both sides. And we'll see.
At Scylla H says on YouTube, the Bucs kicker was also sent home packing because Shakeen said that the Bucs kicker missed a couple of cheap shot field goals and extra points in that game. So, again, that kicker position, I've heard this a lot, Gene, and I'm going to ask you, really, a kicker in the second round?
Hey, you know what? Somebody was going to draft him. I was happy with the move. I was happy with the move. Best kicker. Tell me how. No, seriously, best kicker in NCAA history, and that's not every kicker every day. And you don't understand how many games Tampa has lost because of the kicker. There's just not been any consistency for a long time. Not since Connor Barth prior to his Achilles injury, off-season Achilles injury. It's just been kind of back and forth. So there was a game that Tampa should have won against the Texans. They could have won, and because of the kicker that really hurt him in that position. And I kind of go back to Sebastian Janikowski when he was drafted in the first round, and everybody was flipping out about, this guy, why would you draft a kicker? But the way the NFL is going with the kicking game, the way, you can't kick into the end zone, it comes out to the 25, is that correct?
Yeah.
Or
Yep.
Yeah, so they have these, mortar kicks, place the ball in specific areas. I mean, he's not just a field goal kicker. He's going to be used as a weapon, so to speak. So, I mean, you can laugh about it now, but I think that
we will.
It's all good, man.
Until this jerk kicks a 60-yarder to win a game, I am laughing.
I've actually got a bet out that he wins at least 3 games this season.
Ooh.
On his leg. A
You
rookie.
know what? Then you know what we'll say was, why did you wait till the second round, man?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
speaking of this, is that one of my favorite games in Panthers, in my whole time being a Panthers fan, was in the 2003 season. We were going to the Super Bowl, where we blocked 3 kicks and an extra point against Tampa Bay. So I hope we get to see that again with this guy. No, it's interesting. Talk about knowing the guy you want.
Yes. Absolutely.
It's like, hey, we are not going to wait around. We're going to take a kicker in the second round.
Yeah.
That's high.
Yeah.
He would have been there.
No,
Okay.
I don't think he would have, but it is what it is.
Oh gosh, I wish that Atlanta would have taken him, because this would have been much sweeter. Okay. Here's week 17 right here. We played again in the last season, the last week of the season. It was January. We were coming off a loss to the Atlanta Falcons, I believe. 38-10 win, the Panthers over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I believe this was a home game. Winston had 325 yards passing, no touchdowns, 2 picks. We shut Martin down with 48 yards on the ground. Evans had 4 catches for 99 yards. And prior to the game, one of the Bucs players said that all the Panthers had was Cam Newton on offense. The Panthers frustrated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and you could see that season wearing hard on the players by that point. Evans was ejected, and Winston was upset with his teammates for giving up after that game. How do you think that season played into these guys developing, specifically Jameis Winston and Mike Evans? Because I got to say that Mike Evans, even with his greatness last year, had a letdown season in the fact he could have been better. He dropped a lot of balls. He left some things out on the field, and part of it was injury. How do you think these guys go forward together?
I think that what they've been doing in the offseason, working together, trying to get their chemistry, trying to improve their chemistry, and you see where Dirk Cutter is giving Jameis Winston more flexibility on offense. So you'll see him doing a whole lot more. They kind of had him reined in, as a rookie. They were limiting what he was able to do. But I think that this season will be a different season with Mike Evans having that hamstring injury that bothered him in the first part of the season. He was never able to get on his game. And as you mentioned, there were a lot of games where he dropped balls that could have been touchdowns, could have been game-winning plays, and he's even admitted to that. He owned up to that at the end of the season and said that he's got to do better. So I think that the chemistry between Jameis Winston and Mike Evans is key to this team being successful, along with Austin Seferian-Jenkins and getting in the player Kenny Bell, getting him involved in the offense as well. So I think that's the key right there.
Hey, this just in from Legacy Lines, Lynn on Twitter. She points out that Graham Gano would say kickers are people too.
Okay.
Of course.
She also wants us to ask Gene this, who he sees as the leader on the team for the rookies, and how is the locker room doing? So do you see any rookies that are standing out in leadership, or maybe a veteran player that's reaching out to them?
Vernon Hargraves is really standing out to me. I think with the addition of Brent Grimes, who's kind of mentoring him, I think that's key, right? Oh, hey, let's leave her out of it. That's my girl right there. I'm going to defend her. I'll defend her at all costs.
Okay, well, that'll be a different show.
Totally different show.
All right.
But I think that you have a lot more leadership. Quan Alexander really showed some leadership abilities before he was suspended for those games, and I think that he's really going out to be better than he was last season, trying to improve. Jameis Winston is a leader. You saw plays, you saw glimpses of that. Even when he wasn't on the field, he was trying to get his team together to go out there to try to win. He's a guy that hates to lose. So I think you need that kind of culture in a locker room that hasn't had very much positive since the Super Bowl.
Mel, your Kendall Ford says, "Hi, Uncle Aaron. This is Kendall."
That's my girl right there. That's my girl right there.
So, you got family. Mel brings his family. He doesn't show up half the time, but when he does,
I bring the whole
part-timer. You're a part-timer, huh?
That's it. That little Kendall, she's an athlete, man. She's an all-state gymnast down there in the Carolinas. So, hey, Kendall.
All right. Go on with your bad self. Okay. All right. This is actually the end of the show. It's last question for Gene, and then we're going to do our ice-up picks. Is where do you see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense progressing or going forward this year? You talked about continuity. You talked about Jameis Winston getting his rookie season out of the way. He was, when he threw picks, he threw them in bunches, right? You saw Doug Martin resurgence. Where do you really see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense heading this season?
I think with the moves that they've made, I think you're going to see upgrade with the injuries that you had with Lewis Murphy. Vincent Jackson wasn't 100% throughout the season, and they ended up shutting him down. There were just a lot of players that were missing that could have contributed, and the players that stepped into play, they got a little bit of experience, real game experience. So I think you have that going for you. You have players coming off of injury that are 100% healthy, and you have Jameis Winston, who is our franchise quarterback, and I think that he's going to improve from where he was last season.
Mel, any last thoughts on that while I continue to look for my ice-up pick?
I'll just leave it with saying the Bucs are a team on the rise, in my opinion. I'll give you respect where respect is due. I think you are heading in the right direction. Got to stay healthy. I don't think you have a whole lot of depth. I can say this. If you go back to from the Gruden era forward up until Jason Light, there were a lot of missed opportunities with draft picks, poor free agent moves, and this team, you kept building a foundation and you had to keep tearing it down and starting over. So I think that with this general manager's put this team in a position to where they can build on what they have.
Kendall, quit calling your uncle.
No, call me anytime, Kendall. Open line, sweetie.
How about this? Shaquille said, I thought Mel's name was Mel, not Aaron. I love that. His name is Mel.
I don't even know what my name is anymore, man.
Mel every other. Mel every other. All right. I know Gene's going to stick around, hopefully, for this,
Yeah.
but
Most
it
definitely.
is time for our Ice Up Picks of the Week. It's our favorite part of the show, the oldest running bit that we've had, and this is our homage to really the greatest offensive player in Panthers history
Yes,
prior
sir.
to Cam Newton and Steve Smith. So we are going to tell somebody in the world to ice up, to toughen up, to get their act together. Everyone is fair game. I've iced up a kid in Oklahoma that's 12 years old before. Yes, that's right. So everybody's fair game.
Yep.
Mel Mayock, a.k.a. Aaron, that may not be his real name. Every other, what is your ice up pick,
All right.
sir?
Give me 1 second here.
Oh, gosh. He's
Uh-oh.
got a prop. He's got a
This
prop
should be
coming.
This should
Okay.
be good.
All right, I had to do this now. This little fella right here almost was my Ice Up Son pick. This is Sergeant Pepper, my schnauzer. He got off the hook, but the little fella got a case of bad gas this week. So bad that I had to take him to the vet to give him a shot that cost me $324. So he almost got iced up. Almost.
You know what they say? They say put that dog outside if his gas is that bad.
But you know what? A friend of mine.
That shit is free, Mal. It's free.
A friend of mine actually came to me afterwards and said, "You know what? I just give my dog Gas X." I'm like, "Oh, geez." So
Gas X.
live and learn. Live and learn.
Live and learn.
But Sergeant Pepper got off the hook here. But my actual Ice Up Son, the reason Sergeant Pepper got off the hook is Roman Harper, back where he belongs, off the Panthers, back with the Saints. Did you see what he said this week?
No. What did he say? Because I was starting to like Roman Harper, but I'm so happy I get back to hating him.
Old man Harper. They were interviewing him down there in New Orleans, and on NOLA.com, he says he's got the Panthers game circled. He's looking forward to that game, and trash talking is going to be at an all-time high. Bring it, Panthers. So he's calling us out already in July. He wants some. He needs to go ahead and ice up because it's going to be a long day with Kelvin Benjamin, Devin Funchess, and everybody else coming after him. So
I hope Kelvin Benjamin, I hope Cam Newton runs through him and shatters him.
It did not take much. It did not take much for the professor to start getting all worked up against Roman Harper. I like it.
Ooh, it's back. You know, it took him. The ultimate thing that brought me over to the Roman Harper train was that he followed me on Twitter.
Uh-huh.
You know, and I had to stop hating. I was hating on him even when he was a Panther and he joined the team. I was hating on Old Bones, and then he followed me on Twitter, and then he turned out to be a good teammate, and he won me over. But I'm back, old man Roman Harper. To you, Mel Mayock tells him to
ice up, son.
All right, Gene, you go ahead with your ice up pick because mine's gonna be long. It's the ice is cold.
Oh, wow. Here we go. All right. You know, everybody's up in arms about Kevin Durant leaving Oklahoma City and going to Golden State. I'm not a basketball fan, but this is really annoying. I'm sick of it. He's a grown-up. It's his money. It's his choice. End of story. Screaming A. Smith of the four-letter network has been going off on Kevin Durant. And I was thinking about it, and if we go all the way back to November of last year, Screaming A. Smith said, "You don't want me as an enemy." This was his veiled threat to Kevin Durant. And this was based on him and his sources saying that Kevin Durant was supposed to go to the Lakers. And Kevin Durant said, "Hey, I don't even talk to Stephen A. Smith. So, I don't know what he's talking about." So we move forward to now, and he's making a huge deal out of this guy going to another team. Who cares? It's his choice. To me, Stephen A. Smith should be upset with Skip Bayless for going to Fox. If he wants to be mad at somebody for leaving, he wants to be mad about being jilted or whatever, it should be to Skip Bayless for going to Fox. So, Screaming A. Smith gets my ice up, son.
Well done.
Nice up, Stephen A. Because any black man, and I hate to bring that part in, Gene, but you're a black man, and I think you'll second me on this, that becomes a little man in someone's tummy begging for beef jerky deserves an ice up pick.
You better believe it.
Okay.
Ice up.
All right. My ice up pick, well, I was going to ice up this guy on Facebook. His name is J. Charles Luther. And J. Charles, I put out a story that I was working on. I would say I worked on it on and off we were on vacation, when the kids were wet, like put up to bed and things. And this story, man, I had it sitting in the files for like 6 days, and I was like, I got to finish this. So I got back on it. What I think, and honestly, is the most thorough evaluation out there on K1 Short's contract status and negotiations. Now, it's only the most thorough because, I'm the only one that wrote anything on it. So it's not saying that what I did was phenomenal or anything. But he writes this comment to me on Facebook, and he goes on telling me why defensive. So my theory is this: K1 Short should go for a 4-year deal and go short term to try to get to the second contract, get big money, shorter time, less pressure on the organization, get him to his second contract quicker, and have a no franchise tag clause in the contract. So I think if you combine 2 contracts together, that's better money than one super contract with like a really crappy one on the back end 6 years later. So that's the premise. And then, so in his comment, he tells me how that doesn't work for defensive tackles, and how my comparison to what Darrelle Revis has done doesn't apply to defensive tackles. All good. And he finished his comment with, by the way, this piece wasn't written very well. I understand that the people running Cat Chronicles are only fans, not writers or editors, but there has to be an emphasis on quality. So he wrote this, and look, he says this to me, and I said, what is so bad about it, first of all? And I was sitting there steaming. We had been working out in the yard or something around the house all day, and my wife gets upset when I'm on the Twitter too much or stuff because I'm always on it. So sometimes you got to just put it away so you don't get in trouble twice. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of steaming on this and getting upset. I was like, man, you can't. My writing. I'm sensitive about my writing now. And then he comes back and he gives me these comments about how there was multiple run-on sentences, the sentence structure was all bad, and that was it. And I said, well, look, I'm not saying that I'm not immune to making mistakes, brother, but it is not littered with all of these damn errors that you're talking about. Now, it might not be great, but it ain't just pillars with all these errors. And I said, and then I wrote him this long Facebook comment. I got into war. I went after him. It was 12 a.m., it was late night, and I was just going after this dude. I told him he was pretentious. It was easy to throw darts from the sidelines, all this. I got on this comment, and then I deleted it, and I said, thanks for your feedback. He took a screenshot of the comment and then responded back in kind. So the next day, he breaks down these 3 points. He found 2 sentences. One was it could have been better structured, one. And the other one had an errant comma where I made a mistake. And it was this was a 7-page article if you double space this sucker. And these 2 errors that he found were 3/4 of the way down. So I came on this, I was stewing. I was like, the ice is going to be cold. J. Charles Luther, I'm coming after you. But you know what? I'm reverting. I'm flipping the script, J. Charles Luther. And I'm saying I'm icing up myself. I'm icing up for myself on this thing is that, first of all, I do care about my writing. I do take it seriously. I am a writer. I am an editor because I write and edit a lot of crap on our website. I built this damn website from the very first HTML code. I write more crap than you've ever written in your life. Probably. Now, I don't know you well, but you can't send me a Facebook comment back and be like, here's a sample of my writing that I wrote a Facebook comment, when I probably put out 300 stories in the last 3 years. Why I'm flipping the script and icing myself up is that I have on this podcast consistently said we take what we do seriously, but we don't take ourselves too seriously. And in this moment of fury, I took myself too seriously. I got sensitive, I got cryy, and to you, sir, I'm icing myself up. But you know, this is what little Dicky would say. Oh, don't condescend on me. No, don't condescend on me, because I might just tell you what your Facebook opinion worth. What your opinion worth ain't worth nothing. And I know little Dicky. I met him. Oh, don't condescend on me. Ice up.
Professor, load it up. Right. Bringing the heat, man. Bringing the heat.
Sorry. And this, hold on. Here, let me tell you this, but I won't ice you up tonight, J. Charles Luther, but I will say this.
Go write a blog about it. Browner played well. These guys played hard. You know.
Go write a blog about it, because
Nick Saban is a better man than you are. You could
See a cow turd?
A cow turd.
Yes.
You are just. I don't even have a name for you anymore, except cow turd.
All right. That's the C3 podcast. All right.
But let me just put it out there.
Hold on. Get on out there. I'm turning down the music. Get on in there.
But, Mr. Luther, thank you for reading. Thank you for coming to our website. And do not be afraid to leave a comment if you don't agree with us. We won't.
No, get on.
Hey, why not write a story?
My man didn't put a damn dash.
Why didn't he write a story for you?
Yeah.
I know. I'm ready. I'll post it. And guess what?
I would welcome him to write a story for Carolina Cat Chronicles.
Thank you.
And guess who's going to have to edit it? This guy. Shoot. All right.
Get the red pen out. Get the red pen out.
That's right. And if our boy Gene was editing, he'd get that orange pen out. So tell them where they can find you on Twitter, where they can find your podcast. And
you can reach me. You can reach me at Buc What You Heard. You can reach me at Super Heavyweight. If you catch me on YouTube, you can reach me at Buc What You Heard.
Oh, don't condescend on me! All right.
Peace out.
Mel is a hot topic tonight. JT Luther's calling him again. What's up, brother? Tell them where they can find your work and what you're about.
I'll tell you what, man. Dave Gettleman keeps calling me all night long. It's crazy. But you can catch me at Draft Tech. You can catch me over at Carolina Cat Chronicles anytime. And you got this guy with a big foam board saying that the Bucs are #1. So this is a comedy hour, too. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Join us every Tuesday night, 10 o'clock. Have some fun. That's what it's all about.
Oh, no, don't condescend on me. This is the C3 podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com. We will check you out next Tuesday night right here doing what we do best, which is breaking it down from the fan perspective. You can catch our work at CarolinaCatChronicles.com. You can reach us with the hashtag C3. You can email us. You can do whatever. You can even write a Facebook comment, because I will respond and delete myself. Because I'm deleting this show. We out.